Hello, Cham.
Hello, Lucas. How are you?
I'm great, and it's good to talk with you again. This time for
Yes,
a special video because you've
yes.
returned to Buenos Aires after a very long time, 11 years.
Yeah, 11 years
And
of absence. Yes, I'm glad to be back. Just for a short visit, 1 month, but that's been really emotional trip, and I like to share just few stories. If you, yeah, that's what I like to do.
yes, can you talk a bit about your general impressions of this trip?
Yeah, general impression is, yeah, through for 11 years, I have heard from many different sources, many friends. They say, oh, it's not the same, it's different, a lot of changes. But my impression is this one. Despite all these comments I received from my friends, Argentine tango was born and still lives in Buenos Aires. I'll just leave this up to your interpretation. So when it comes to tango, this is the place. That's all. Simple. Um, would you like me to add some more?
Yes, yes. There.
Let me
Otherwise,
just
yeah,
let me
yeah.
yeah let me just one more comment. So what does it mean? I've had a lot of talks with friends, even foreign dancers coming here more often than other just visitors. Our concession is yes, people tend to dance with a heart here. Of course, there's some learners try to perform some steps here there, but majority of dancers here in Buenos Aires feel the music and try to connect with a partner when they dance. That is the part I enjoy dancing in Buenos Aires. That's what I mean by it. Still Argentine tango lives here. Emotion, feelings, heart connection. That's very common here in Buenos Aires. That's my impression.
Yes, because one of the most important things we have to discuss after an absence of 11 years is the changes you witness. So in this case, you say something is still the same. What else
Uh,
do you have to
well,
add?
Argentina, I mean, Buenos Aires is very dynamic in good way, a little bit funny ways, unpredictable. Meaning, one thing you can rely on in the city is there is there are always changes. If you stick with a one thought you have in the past, one experience in the past, things are moving very fast. Even in milongas, for example, when I was here 11 years ago, 4 years, I went to one milonga twice a week, and I met all the friends, good friends, once or twice a week, and that has changed. Meaning, the favorite milonga I went to, I didn't find any friends. They all left the milonga, and they went to their own milonga somewhere. So I had to ask around who is where. That's the change. So if you look at this favorite milonga I was referring to, I look at the photo again over the weekend. I didn't notice anybody. Means they're all new members. Of course, apparent disappearance of milongueros is clear. Means milongueros, for me, were the guardian of milongas. When the milongueros were present, people tend to behave differently because the influence of their in the milonga was very apparent. So people tend to behave all that. That was my what I witnessed when I was here. Now they're gone and replaced by so-called star dancers. Of course, young, they have different history, different background, but they tend to have somehow a sense of ownership. I own this milonga, so I can dance any way I want. Then foreigners come and learn that attitude and dance like, yes, I can dance any way I want, more expressive, more than desired in small space. So it seems more chaotic. So I decided to explore the different milongas. Of course, I had to find my favorite dancers. I started visited different milongas. I found them in different milongas. So I asked them about the trend. Of course, they mentioned, yes, all the milongueros are gone, and I don't like that milonga anymore. So I decided to come back to my barrio, and I dance here. I'm happy. Well, I found that those milongas more attractive. So I started going to different milongas. That's the big changes I witnessed. And again, changes. I don't know what's going to happen when I come here next time, but changes. So you have to have this so-called beginner's mind. Go there and find out what is a trend. Then okay, go with it. Go with the flow. Otherwise, you may not be able to enjoy as much as used to. So if you come here, be ready to change, be ready to adapt to new environment. That's the case in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, but at the same time, I also feel like you're somehow enjoying it the way you used to in other places.
Yes, very
So
much, very
you're not
much.
disappointed.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. I mean, but there are many different types of dancers. In terms of selecting partners, you know, some dancers, they say, I like to dance with anybody, everybody. That's not the case. My case is I dance with only dancers I know. So they're all my favorite dancers. If they're not there, I don't dance. I listen to music, and then I try to seek out to find my favorite dancers. So I found them, but it's okay. But so I met them in their favorite milongas, or those became my favorite milongas. And dancers, I mean, without so-called star dancers, they're more quiet and a variety of age groups, and they appreciation of music is better than so-called famous milongas. So I really enjoy the dancing in those milongas, a little bit farther away from the centro, but hey, collectibles is always there, and subte, and if you take advantage of mass transportation, price you cannot beat, then you find your favorite dancers. Yeah, I enjoyed very much dancing in this unknown. I mean, it's has been there for many years, but many tourists or foreigners may not be able to find them in the list. For example, if you look at the Hoi Milonga website, there are about minimum 7-8 milongas per night. So which one would you go? Best thing is ask around, ask your friends who are knowledgeable about milongas in Buenos Aires. Ask, then you'll be able to get current information, or where some milongas is more friendly than others. So that's the information you need to gather if you like to enjoy milongas in Buenos Aires.
Yes, but if I understand correctly, you are still finding the level of dancing that you want to find, even though some of the milongueros are not there anymore, and that has implications for floorcraft. But
well, I don't. Yes, it's all varies. For example, again, we're talking about changes. I went to Milonga last night, Sunday. A couple of weeks ago, I went to same Milonga around same time. I found all my favorite dancers when I walked in. I was so happy. DJ was my favorite DJ. Everything was perfect. Last night was a different story. I noticed that 3, 4 favorite dancers. Other than that, other than these favorite dancers, new dancers. So I ask myself, should I explore with new dancers? Well, I decided not to. I sat down and listened to music, and when I danced with all the favorite dancers, sometimes two tandas, then I decided to go home. Came. So again, was I disappointed? No, it's the way it is. Sometimes your way, sometimes not, but take as it is. At least music was good. Saluski, even Saluski DJ himself, when I listened to him about 2 weeks ago, I said, I never listened to him while I was here 11 years ago, but it was my first time. I said, man, it's not my type of DJ. Well, guess what? Last night was a different. Oh, I like his music. So I have to go with open-minded to be able to enjoy any milonga you go. That's how I feel.
Okay. And when you were there 11 years ago, there were not as many encuentros in Europe, and now there are. So
yes, many of them. Yes, that I think that is the 11 years ago. It was about to spread around the Europe. I think that there are many right now. At the time, I think one or two just started it at the time, I think. Yeah.
and so that the important question here is like, why Buenos Aires? If you consider that there are more options nowadays in Europe, I mean, well, it's always a tough question.
Yes, but yeah, it's not a tough question for me. Am I qualified to present my opinion about encuentros or tango around the world? Maybe I do have one or two qualifications. I've been dancing in 25, 26 countries and while giving classes here, there, Europe, yes, many places. Yes, very close. Improving dramatically last 20 or 25 years, but still something is missing. Something, what is the English expression? Very close, but not cigar. Meaning it's very close, but there's 1%, 0.1% is critical part. Will Europeans or people around the world, dancers, be able to fill this gap? I think it's up to them, but it's something is missing. I'll tell you what it is. One expression, dancing with a heart. Okay. Do they dance with the heart? Meaning complete resonance with a partner, resonance with the self, resonance with the partner, music, other dancers. That part is still missing. Missing in a sense, many are not aware of the fact. They don't learn their way. So I think they're still searching. So I hope they will get there. That is my hope. Yeah.
Yes, maybe I should ask you again in 11 years from now, but
yes. Yes, good thought. Yes.
Just joking, but who knows? So I have
who knows, right?
I have a last question.
Yes.
So this is very interesting. So you spent 4 years in Buenos Aires, and you wrote a book, and now you're actually getting a kind of a special reception in Buenos Aires that you may have not been expecting. So can you talk a bit about?
Yes, I was just surprised that each milonga I go to, I meet about 4 different groups of people. I mean, besides just dancers, one group is coming with my book in their hand and asked me to autograph it. I was totally blown away. I didn't know that they would recognize me, that I'm coming, but they're waiting for me to sign the autograph. It's a big honor. And then another group is approached me to tell me that they took the course or they took the workshop in Buenos Aires many years ago, some from European countries. That means more than 10, 15 years ago. And to tell me they appreciate what I offered. That was also a big surprise and honor. And the biggest honor is when I dance in certain milongas, I stop by, let's say, milongueros or tangueras, very experienced dancers. I'm not going to go into the age, but they grab my hand like this and look at my eyes and say, I want to dance with you. Very clear message. Because no cabeceo, nothing. They stopped me just like that. I said, of course I dance with them. Then, for example, last Sunday, the lady, I recognize who it was. I don't know the name, but I have seen her dancing in many milongas. And she stopped me and asked me to dance. I said, of course, I danced with her. I think it was, I remember it was Tanturi with Castillo. Then in the middle of dance, she said, my father used to take me to Milonga to listen to Castillo. Then you can guess how old she is, you know. Then she said, yeah, I also went to see um, um, I forgot the name. Anyway, a lot of orchestras. Then at the end, she said, you dance quite well, very, very well. I said, thank you. It was a real honor to be able to invite it by dancer like her and common compliment like that. It was a kind of nice pat on my back. So yeah, that is the surprise and big honor to meet dancers like that. I think it was not the first time, but throughout this trip, about 5-6 times, I was stopped by experienced dancer like her. That was a big honor. I was really surprised.
Yes, yes. Well, nowadays you're back doing all your workshops and teaching, and you're restarting that. So we've talked about that in the previous interview. So I'll link
Yes.
that in the description of this video, and I also
Yes.
link your your website
Yes.
in the description so that people can learn more about you. And yeah, I wish you the best for the rest of your stay in Buenos Aires, and yeah, enjoy it to the fullest. And
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks for
also
inviting me.
yeah,
This opportunity to share my history, story, and new experience in Buenos Aires with your audience. Thank you very much for inviting me.
yes, and you're also currently writing about Buenos Aires, some posts about Buenos Aires. So I also encourage people to check those out.
Yes, in my Facebook page at Chan Tango Zen Park. That's my Facebook name. Then yeah, come and read. It's an interesting story. It started by accident, but I really enjoyed sharing my story as a diary form, so which is available in my Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, enjoy the rest of your stay, and
Thank
hope to
you.
talk to
Thank
you
you.
again soon. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye bye. Bye bye, Lucas.